friends. We are making tiramisu today, and you get the non-sleep deprived version of me doing this today, so it'll be great. Wanting to preface this recipe by saying that this recipe that I'm about to give you makes 2 full pans. So if you're looking for like 1 pan, half the recipe. So just keep that in mind. All right, get you a nice big pot. We're gonna fill it like halfway with water, put it on the stove, and let it boil. All right, next we get the cutest, prettiest mixing bowl you've ever seen in your life. I got this one from Dollar Tree, I think. Either that or Dollar General. And then we're taking 12 eggs, a whole carton, and we are cracking just the yolk in here. So you can set aside the egg whites to make eggs, omelets, whatever you want. I usually save them to make scrambled eggs for my kids. So this is the method I use to get the yolks out. Just until there's no more. Get that tail off, Lord. And then we pour it in there. Super important to note, make sure it's a mixing bowl that's not gonna melt in our pan that has boiling water. So heat proof if you could. We're also going to add, now that we have our yolks, we're gonna add 1 1/3 cup of sugar and like a pinch of salt. So again, if you're gonna half the recipe, just half that. All right, so once this comes to a boil, we're gonna turn it down to a simmer. We're gonna stir up our bowl that has our eggs, sugar, and salt in it. And then we're just gonna keep stirring. This is probably gonna take about 15 minutes, but it's gonna start getting like a light yellow. We're gonna start. We're just gonna keep stirring to make sure it doesn't turn into scrambled eggs. But we're gonna wait till it gets like a very light yellow color and it thickens. All right, so this is the light yellow color that I was talking about. So once we've done this for about 10 or so minutes, we take it off the heat. We're gonna let it cool down for 5 minutes and then we'll come back. I also definitely made eggies with the egg whites, so you should do that in the meantime. All right, now that things are cooled down a bit, I usually do 1 container of mascarpone because mascarpone is what you're supposed to use in the normal recipe. These are 8-ounce containers. So I usually do 1 of mascarpone and I do the rest cream cheese. Total, I typically do 40 ounces. So it'd be 1 mascarpone and 4 cream cheese. All right, so we're dropping this all directly into the egg mixture, and then we're gonna use a hand mixer to mix it up until there's no lumps. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but the reason I do cream cheese instead of mascarpone is like $5 per every 8 ounces, whereas cream cheese is $1 to $2 per every 8 ounces, depending on where you get it. And it's a very similar texture and a very similar flavor. All right, once you're done, we're gonna grab a separate mixing bowl. This one does not have to be heat proof. And we are going to whip up some heavy cream. This is what it looks like. And then in this one, we're gonna add 4 cups of heavy cream. We're gonna whip this till we get whipped cream. So you're kind of looking for that texture. I don't know how to explain that. So this is what I'm kind of looking for. Kind of like if we had, gotten like a spray can of whipped cream and just kind of done it all in there. So what we're going to do is take all of this mixture and we're going to dump it in here and we're going to mix it all together. I usually go back in with the hand mixer just to make sure everything's mixed properly, but this is what it looks like. We're going to set this aside and get our cookies out. Now, normally traditional tiramisu calls for lady fingers, and those are a little bit on the more expensive side. You can definitely get those, but I like using vanilla wafers as a good replacement. Also, for the espresso, you can use espresso or you can use any dark roast coffee. I like using flavored dark roast coffee. So I have a creme brulee flavored dark roast that I have in my coffee pot right now, and I'm going to pour that into a bowl. So we're going to get like a bigger we're gonna get a bowl. We're gonna pour our espresso coffee in there, and then we're also gonna grab our pan to build the tiramisu. All right, so let me show you how this goes. So we got our little vanilla wafer in there. We're just gonna kind of flip it around a few times in our coffee, and then we are going to lay it in our pan. We are going to repeat this process until the entire bottom of the pan is covered with coffee soaked cookies. All right, this is what the bottom of the pan looks like. We are going to scoop a little bit of our cream filling on top. I usually put down just enough that you can't really see the cookies underneath, okay? So now we're gonna go in with another layer of cookies in this pan. Actually, backtrack for just a second. Before we put a second layer of cookies on, we have to go in with cocoa powder. We're gonna cover the top of this with cocoa powder. I am so sorry. I literally lost my brain for 2 seconds. It doesn't have to be a lot of cocoa powder. This is about what it should look like. Fill it in as much or as little as you want. And if you want, you can mix cocoa powder and sugar. So it's like a sugar cocoa powder. If you want your tiramisu to be a little sweeter. Repeat this process until we run out of the white filling. That's going to be the top of the layer. So once you're out of enough of it that you know you can't make another layer, that's when you call it a quits. All right, so the layers are just vanilla wafers, cream filling, cocoa powder, and then we're going to do 3 layers total. The recipe I gave you is enough for 2 tiramisus, 3 layers each. Once you're done putting your layers together, smack the lid on that bad boy and put it in the fridge for 4 to 8 hours before consuming. And it can be in the fridge for up to 4 or 5 days. Have fun.